political, appointed civil service, religious or cultural, you will see a lot of lamentation coming from Greater Navy. But those are not the only forms of leadership that we have. There is the underexploited and undertapped leadership of entrepreneurship, of entrepreneurs. Those who see opportunities for business and profit and go for it. These are business people. These are investors, such as you are. And so when you started thinking about trade and investment symposium for Greater Navy 2024, that is the master key of what has been missing in Greater Navy. And so I'm excited for you. I'm ready to back you and support you. Are we together? Is everybody getting me?
Yeah, we are getting you.
Are getting me,
we are
eh?
getting.
So
Yeah.
Very loud and clear.
What is important about your initiative as young entrepreneurs from Greater Navy is that you are beginning to transform our comparative advantage as Greater Navy and West Nile into competitive advantage. There's a huge difference between comparative advantage and competitive advantage. Comparative advantage of Greater Navy is what is God-given, natural. Coffee, cotton, fish, location near Congo, you name them. Those are comparative advantage. But we have been poor and we can continue to be poor with those comparative advantages. It is not until our comparative advantages are turned into competitive advantages that we can begin to realize change, transformation. And it is where entrepreneurs take the lead to convert our comparative advantages into competitive advantages. So that the comparative advantage of Greater Navy neighboring Mahagi territory, Ituri province, becomes harnessed into cross-border trade so that both sides of the border benefit through business, through trade, through investment, through industrialization. Trade, investment, industrialization will mean profit and prosperity on both sides of the border. That is when our comparative advantage of being near the border has been transformed into competitive advantage. So that is why I look forward to the inaugural Young Entrepreneurs.
You disappeared. We can't hear you now.
I have disappeared. Can you hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you. You are on.
hear you.
On.
Did you hear
Maybe
the
that
point?
one has network sharing.
Yes,
Okay.
I think Frank has a network issue, but you're clear.
Okay, so
Loud and clear.
transforming our comparative advantages into competitive advantages is where you guys, the young entrepreneurs, have started, and it's going to be an exciting journey. Why? Because the African Continental Free Trade Area is on. And so we, the young entrepreneurs, the business people, the investors, when I say investors, don't think of white people, which is the mistake of Uganda government, where they say investors when they invariably mean foreign investors. I'm talking of domestic investors, home investors, such as you, starting from Greater Navy. For those of us who are Christians, we know Jesus said, you will start preaching the gospel when you're powered by the Holy Spirit from Jerusalem, then Samaria and Judea, and then to the ends of the whole world. So it starts from Greater Nebi. It starts from West Nile. It starts from northern Uganda. Then it goes abroad. And so you guys have started right. And as your patron, I will back you up. I'll support you. If anybody brings future and wants to intimidate you, just let me know. I will fix them in the language and currency they understand. That said, this afternoon I delivered your invitation letter to Ms. Irene Birungi Mugisha, Private Secretary to His Excellency the President and Coordinator of the Presidential CEO Forum, together with the concept note. I also delivered a copy of that letter to the PS of the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Ms. Geraldine Sally. I also left in our office 9 copies of your invitation letter to His Excellency Wamkele Mene, Secretary General of African Colonial Area, with the advice that she should endorse all 9 copies, and I will return on Monday afternoon to collect them and share with her that she should coordinate with Ms. Irene Birungi Mugisha and our brother, Mr. Paul Okech in Accra, Ghana, on a convenient date for the African Secretary General to visit Uganda as you have invited. The dates you have indicated are 25th of January, which is your asking date. You are flexible for the 3 parties, meaning Ms. Irene Birungi, the PS of Trade and Industry, Ms. Geraldine Sally, and our brother, Mr. Paul Okech, to discuss among themselves together with you and arrive at a convenient date for all parties, be it in February, be it in March, be it in April. You are open and flexible. I hope that is your position.
Yes, sir.
The reason why we need that, so that the Presidential Forum can accept you are reaching out to them to be the main sponsor of the Trade and Investment Symposium of Greater Nebi West Nile. Once they accept, then we'll start discussion with the 3 parties, Mr. Paul Okech in Accra, Ghana, Ms. Geraldine Sally, PS of Trade, and Ms. Birungi, State House, Presidential Forum. So that the Trade and Investment Symposium, the first of its kind to harness African Continental Area implementation in Uganda. I want you guys to know that this will be the first Trade and Investment Symposium in Uganda that will practically harness African Continental Free Trade Area implementation in Uganda. And you guys will set the record. Aren't you proud of yourselves?
Well, we are happy. We are just happy.
So,
We are just happy to be part of the record.
setting the record, not part of it. You're setting the record.
Clear.
So, I encourage you to read and internalize the concept note, because that is the conceptual philosophical grounding of the Trade and Investment Symposium. It is the grounding for the pre-symposium meetings and activities you'll be having, which you have put in the concept note. It would guide the discussions and meetings with the Presidential Forum when they accept to be main sponsor, together with the PS Minister of Trade and Industry, together with African Continental Area, so that the Trade and Investment Symposium will truly be one of a kind. Now, the most important thing that I should share on is how are we going to mobilize resources for the Trade and Investment Symposium in the kind of approach I have described. You have given a draft budget, which means when the parties that we have reached out to accept, we're going to redo the budget. And there will be contributions from different stakeholders. Now, the advantage that we have once the Presidential Forum accepts to be main sponsor, and our COC determines that we need to invite other stakeholders from the Greater West Nile to be part of this, and that we should also invite participants from neighboring Mahagi territory and Haut-Uele province. Through my network in the ICGLR Great Lakes Practical Forum, we can use partnership with the Chamber of Commerce of DRC, which is called Fédération Enterprise du Congo. The branches in Ituri province and Haut-Uele province, to have them also come and be invited as entrepreneurs from neighboring Congo to come to the symposium. And through that same network, we can also have South Sudan Chamber of Commerce send representatives, I mean physical representatives. And I can also reach my counterpart in the Central African Republic, who is part of the Great Lakes Practical Forum, to also bring participants, so that where your concept note says Greater Navy West Nile, bordering DRC, South Sudan, with proximity to Central African Republic and Chad, is pivotal player, is Uganda's pivotal player in African continental area. It will be seen in action. It will be seen physically. It will be seen practically. So it will not be a trade and symposium of World Economic Forum type of seminars, panel discussions, and end of, as somebody suggested, that was forward. It was no. This will be a practical trade and investment with a market in neighboring countries demonstrated. That means companies in Kampala that export their goods to DRC, South Sudan, CAR, will be incentivized and invited to exhibit at the Trade and Investment Symposium, and they will pay. That is how we shall realize our resource mobilization as young entrepreneurs towards the Trade and Investment Symposium. And with Presidential City Forum as main sponsor, these other companies like roofings, cement companies, steel companies like steel and tubes, plastic companies, milk companies, soaps, detergent, oil, name them, that export to Congo. It will be in their interest to come and exhibit at a Trade Investment Symposium, because they will be having the representative market of DRC, South Sudan, Central African Republic at the symposium. Do we get the picture now?
Yes, we do.
Yes, yes.
So in other words, right from Greater Navy, we can have a continental symposium.
Yeah.
And that will demonstrate the African Continental Free Trade Area in Uganda. You can take it from me because I have been researching on AFCTA in Uganda. Nothing of that kind has yet ever taken place since January 2021, when AFCTA became operational. And for us from Greater Navy to have our own son, Mr. Paul Okech, as special assistant to the Secretary General of FCTA, if we do not take advantage of that, how foolish are we? Have you heard me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you don't take advantage of Mr. Paul Okech from Parombo, a Parombo boy, who is special assistant to the Secretary General of AFCTA in Accra, Ghana, how foolish would we be? So, the presence of Mr. Paul Okech as special assistant to the Secretary General is how we can transform our comparative advantage of being near the border into competitive advantage of cross-border trade, investment, and industrialization. So I want to stop there for now, and I would be glad to answer any questions or any clarification that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. George Yuang. We are really very grateful for this insightful engagement that you've given us. Before we go to questions, the young people are very eager to know some of the opportunities that we are not seeing as young people and the potentials in this area as West Nile, as Greater Nebi. Maybe if you could highlight a few that someone who thought that there's nothing here can start thinking outside the box, that there are things that we can do and change this place. Please, you're most welcome. Mr. George, are you on?
He has left.
I think maybe technical hinge.
He is off the call.
Is he back?
He's back. Kindly pose the question back.
Mr. George, I was requesting that before you could go to the challenges or the questions that people will ask you, but as young people, there are many on this engagement, and others are really eager to know some of the opportunities that we have here and the potential of this area as West Nile, as Greater Navy, so that from here, our minds can open and start looking very far and or start looking at direction that can change this place and change our lives economically, socially, and in all ways. So before you could go to the questions, we request you to highlight some of these opportunities and potentials that we have. Thank you. Members, as we wait for Mr. Piwang George, We have heard it all from him. The direction is driving us. As I had earlier said, we are looking at having a symposium with the theme trade and investment, given that opportunities that we have here and the potential of this area that is not being tapped. So as the young people who are calling themselves under 40 CEOs of West Nile NEBI, we have come together to see that how do we embrace what we have? As he has said, that there are comparative advantages that we have here, which are God-given, and for sure they are there. When we look at our area in terms of coffee and even any other agricultural practices, when you look at our location in terms of border businesses, there are many enormous, there are so many things that are not exploited in this area. We realize that we are correcting ourselves because they want to correct us. It is us.
And then people are raising their hands and can pick them possible.
So the actual balance should be
Hello.
So our balance is exactly
I was seeing Benson's hand up. Mr. Benson,
I think
unmute and talk to us.
it can be picked up first. Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Benson, we can hear you.
Oh, yes, thank you. Good evening, all.
Good evening,
sir.
Okay. Yes, young entrepreneurs, I'm very happy to be with you. Much as I'm not a young entrepreneur now under 40, but I'm so privileged for your invitation. And the topic is so touching. And I really want to appreciate the initiators of this program. And indeed, as Mr. George has said, it's the first of its kind, and we really want to give a push to that. I'm so grateful to be part of it. Madam Grace has raised a very pertinent question. Hello?
Yeah, we are listening.
Madam Grace has raised a very pertinent question following a very great presentation by Mr. George, who really, I captured very, very important part of this transformational message he gave. We understood very well the comparative initiative. And those are the core areas where we're supposed to focus our discussion. Now, following the question Madam Grace raised about some of the challenges which is blocking us to see to explore the opportunities under the comparative advantage that we already have. I think the greatest thing that we need to focus on to make sure that the young people appreciate their locality, because God is not crazy to make us belong to this place. First of all, we must appreciate that. And much as we are here, we have got all our blessings within us here. And we find that some of the problem we are facing right now here comes because we lack mentorship. We have been lacking mentorship. People who are already successful, they are supposed to be the ones who should lead us to see the way. But in many cases, we find that the young people are being left outside the context of the successful people already. And that is already a very big challenge that we have been facing. And I believe in this kind of concept that you have already come up with, it is going to address this matter. So what I think should be done is the mindset change training. Young people need to go through series of mindset transformation, because they suppose a negative belief that people have here that, oh, for us, we are poor. Wealth you must inherit from your generation. If your grandfather was not wealthy, how can you become rich? Those are negative forces that pulls us back. But with this initiative now, we need to have a forum where young people engage right from school, right from primary school. We must disengage their negative thinking from primary school, secondary school with outreaches up to university. These young people must be reached by people already successful. The problem that we have been seeing here, you find people live according to their clusters. The poor people want to live according to their clusters, thinking that for them they are poor, they cannot come out of that poverty cocoon. Then the rich people also want to live according to their clusters. This is saying in those who are already successful. They think that you should not reach them because you have misfortune. But when you start following back, you find that all those who are not successful, when you follow their background, even those who are successful by academic, will tell you that their mothers were cooking guli. By the fact that somebody was educated through guli, through local wine, local brew, that means that that person also came from a poor background. And now he's somewhere where he is. But when we climb up, sometimes we forget to think about where we came from. So we need to redo our thinking. Those who think they come from poor, family should think that they should climb up. Because they say that when you are born poor, it's not a crime. But when you die poor, it's a crime. Because you have been there seeing opportunities and you are not taking it. We have opportunities here in agriculture. In agriculture nowadays, we talk more about agribusiness. In agribusiness, we talk about production. Those are doing the actual production. Those are dealing in agro-input business, supplying of inputs, seeds and pesticides, and planting and equipment. We have got those who are buying the produce. Those opportunities which people can do. If you don't want to farm, you can get some money and start buying produce and sell. Then we have got those who are processing, adding values. If you cannot grow and you cannot buy, at least have a processing facility. Even if in a group you buy a machine and you put there. Last time I was moving around Arua Road, I saw somebody was overwhelmed with the rice. There were over 200 bags of rice packed in front of the shop, in front of the rice seller. And the person was overwhelmed. Those are the kind of opportunities now we have. And people are just wondering, look at this man is making money, but what are we thinking? So one of the things that we must know, when we keep on crying, there's no job, there's no job, there's no job. First of all, what is job? What is job?
Benson, can I interrupt you?
Okay.
Madam Chair had asked me to give a summary of the opportunities we have in NEBI, but I could not unmute my button.
Okay.
I could not microphone, so I was not able to. Because what you are giving us is already what we are setting our feet to do.
Okay.
This Trade and Investment Symposium is starting from the perspective of turning our comparative advantage into competitive advantages.
Yes, yes.
We are leaving behind lamentations.
Yes.
We are leaving behind negative mindsets.
Yes.
We are leaving behind all the cry of Jalu.
Yes.
We are starting a new paradigm. We are changing the narrative. So as Madam Chair Grace had asked me, let me give a summary of the opportunities we have and the possibilities we have as Greater Nebi and West Nile, and how the youth can harness and take advantage of those. We are leaving behind all deficits and negative things in the past, and we are starting this new year, 2024, on a new narrative, on a new paradigm of under 40 CEOs Forum Young Entrepreneurs Trade and Investment Symposium. So allow me to give a summary so that so that we don't go back into repeating what we have heard over and over again. Okay?
All right.
First of all, Greater Nebi, our population. That is our first opportunity, because population is how you define a market. The total population of Greater Nebi, Pakwach, Nebi, and Zumbo summarizes to about 770,000 out of a population of 3.2 million for West Nile region. That population of 770,000 out of 3.2 million is a market. Look at it that way. Politicians see that as votes. But for us entrepreneurs, we're seeing that as a market. That is number one. Number two, Greater Nebi has critical and strategic mineral deposits, gold, nickel, and graphite in Zumbo district, diatomite and uranium deposits in Pakwach district. The best Arabica coffee in Uganda comes from Greater Nebi. That is Nebi and Zumbo districts. That is the same Arabica coffee belt that extends to neighboring Mahagi territory. And it is the same Alur Central Luo people who inhabit Greater Nebi as well as Mahagi territory. That is our opportunity. Pakwach district, which is the border of Greater Nebi to the east, is bounded by Lake Albert and River Nile, directly across the Mission Falls National Park. This makes Greater Nebi strategically positioned for nature-based historical and cultural tourism, as well as for golf and golf resort hotels, tourism, and hospitality services. Greater Nebi is part of the Northern Uganda Tourism Circuit, marked by Mission Falls National Park, Lake Albert, River Nile, Emin Pasha Fort in Wadelai, and Ajai Game Reserve in Madokolo district, which is the native habitat of the African wild rhino. Those are the tourism opportunities in Greater Nebi. Greater Nebi has the opportunities for commercial production and value addition in fish, avocado, palm oil, passion fruit, mangoes, potatoes, Irish, cotton, maize, cassava, rice, in all the three districts of Pakwach, Nebi, and Zumbo. And the same belt continues into Mahagi territory, neighboring Congo. In terms of infrastructure and opportunity, Pakwach is the gateway to West Nile, Northeast DRC, South Sudan, and Central African Republic. Pakwach is also Africa's best inland hub of road, railway, water transport, and broadband internet fiber optic. Now, here's the good news of possibilities for Greater Nebi. In 2018, in August, the government of Uganda, that is Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, approved the development of 4 regional science and technology industrial parks in Pakwach, Kamuli, Chankwanzi, and Rubirizi districts in the UIA Strategic Plan 2016-2021. That same year, Pakwach District local government commenced implementation of its Northern Uganda Regional Science and Technology Industrial Park towards high-tech technology city by 2040 in Pakwach District. In 2020, the EU-funded GGI Institute, together with the National Planning Authority, sponsored the master plan, physical plan, and feasibility study of the Pakwach Regional Science and Industrial Park. And here's the good news. The NRM Manifesto 2021-2026, Securing Your Future, recommends development of Pakwach and the other 3 regional science and industrial parks within 2021-2026 period in promotion of industrialization, jobs, and wealth creation through application of science, technology, engineering, and innovation. And you can find that in the NRM Manifesto, pages 54, 55 to 179. In September 2019, and this is what I want to bring to your information as young entrepreneurs, Uganda National Chamber of Commerce and Industry proposed the West Nile Ituri Province Golevura Customs Uganda DRC Cross-Border Special Economic Zone as a trade, investment, and industrialization infrastructure in line with Uganda Vision 2040 on page 56, paragraph 138. It is proposed to include Goli Mahagi Customs Technology-Based Women and Youth Business Incubation Center, as well as a Uganda DRC cross-border research and development and innovation strategic partnership between Muni University and University of Bunia. Now, what is a special economic zone? A special economic zone is a huge industrial park, if I may put it bluntly. The advantage of Greater Nebi in terms of proximity to this proposed special economic zone is that the SMEs that will invest and locate in the special economic zone will favor SMEs in Greater Nebi because you are next to the special economic zone. Are we together about that?
Yes, sir. We are together.
Yes, we are getting it clear.
What it means is that your companies, your SMEs, your companies are the ones that have the incentive to invest and locate in this special economic zone.
Together, we are together.
Now, what does the special economic zone support? It supports adding value to raw materials which are found in the catchment area of the special economic zone, such as coffee, avocado, Irish potatoes, sweet bananas, tea, all those raw materials that are found in Greater Nebi can be processed and value added to them in the special economic zone for export without customs tariffs. That's why it is structured in such a way that it is a special economic zone. And it is a huge industrial park on both sides of the border. Now, just imagine from Goli Customs up to Vura. How many miles is that? This special economic zone will be situated within that parameter. This means, as a huge industrial park, it will synergize very well with the agreement that President Museveni and President Tshisekedi entered in 2019 November to tarmac Goli Mahagi Bunia Road. Now, don't do the allure thing, but where is it? What I'm saying, that is the agreement. And it is public. And with the special economic zone, we can now lobby President Museveni and President Tshisekedi. Now, you agreed. So here is the opportunity. And because of the special economic zone, it will be easy to find those who can finance that road because it will be profitable thanks to the special economic zone. But that also means Nebi, Goli, Paida, Zeu, Vura Road must be tarmac as a logical nexus, as a logical gainful economic activity to Goli, Mahagi, Bunia, thanks to the special economic zone. That is a different kind of lobbying than the one we normally know that, oh, for us, government doesn't like us, it may be as if you're not voting NRM. That's not the point. The point is, with the special economic zone, we bring the incentive factor to the two governments of Uganda and DRC to know that those two roads, Goli Mahagi Bunia, Nebi, Goli, Paida, Zeu, Vura, are profitable roads. That is the incentive factor that I'm talking about. That is the opportunity and possibility for Nebi, Greater Nebi right now. There's another project which has a huge opportunity for Greater Nebi. That is the Lake Victoria Mediterranean Sea Navigation Corridor Project. Akwa District local government submitted a project to government last year, which has been accepted. And it is part of the AU NEPAD project, which is now undergoing feasibility study too. But the exciting provision for that project is possibility of internet cable from Cairo on the bed of the River Nile up to Pakwach, on the bed of Lake Albert, up to Kaisatonia, to join the internet cable that is going to go along the EACOP oil pipeline to Tanga, so that it can meet the undersea cable in Tanzania from Tanga. That kind of internet loop means that internet in the entire West Nile, northeastern DRC and northern Uganda, will be very fast and cheap. And that will be a game changer if you know the challenges that we have with internet right now. Are we together?
Yes,
Yes,
we are together.
Now,
We are together.
so now, those are the scenario of the opportunities and possibilities as of now. Despite those possibilities and opportunities, the challenges we have now is high poverty rate at 36%, which I got from the Under 40 CEOs Forum concept note. This is above the country's average of poverty rate of 30%. Now, for Britain NEBI case, this is more serious because of our young population represented by you. 60% of our population, of the 760,000, 70,000 that I talked about, 60% of that population is under the age of 30. Now, this is not a negative. It can be an invaluable demographic dividend, provided there are robust economic opportunities, economically gainful jobs, and wealth creation for women and youth in particular. And that is why this initiative by the Greater NEBI West Nile Under 40 CEO Forum is timely, because we are kickstarting the socioeconomic transformation of Greater NEBI with all those opportunities and possibilities. And the young entrepreneurs are the ones leading. So we are leaving behind lamentations. We are leaving behind Kuropaja Alu. We are even not thinking of, first of all, getting mindset training. We are doing it, just like the Nike commercial. Just do it. We are doing it. We're going to create businesses starting from your businesses. We're going to expand. And we're going to tap into opportunities brought by the African Continental Area. According to this quote, the AFCTA, an opportunity for Africa's youth to accelerate trade and industrialization. Listen to this quote from the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. The African Continental Area is an opportunity for young people to accelerate Africa's industrialization and economic transformation through entrepreneurship. The youth say, calling for an enabling policy framework. Through its youth protocol, the AFCTA recognizes that young people can play a critical role in the achievement of the free trade zone by initiating youth-led initiatives in agriculture, financial technology, IT, and in the creative industry. However, they note that access across the youth-dominant trade areas critical to the AFCTA, the challenges of infrastructure gap, lack of access to modern technologies, funding, electricity, and broadband internet keep the youth on the sidelines of the free trade area. That is why the Greater Navy West Nile Young Entrepreneurs Trade and Investment Symposium will focus on key sectors which are vital for the region's growth, such as agriculture, agribusiness, agro-processing, low technology manufacturing, high-skilled and high-value, high-tech technology, research and development, innovations and manufacturing, tourism and hospitality, cultural creative industries and performing arts, fashion and design, vocational and technical skills development, infrastructure development and ICT, services, etc. The symposium will foster dialogue, brainstorming, mentorship, and develop or adopt actionable strategies to drive the economic development of Greater Navy and the West Nile region in the years to come. The theme of the symposium is, quote, unlocking growth potential and empowering tomorrow's innovators, leveraging AFCTA, special economic zones, and industrial parks for Uganda's young entrepreneurs, end quote. So, this webinar is about the way that we are kickstarting today. We are doing it practically. We are not discussing for the sake of discussing and having platforms and seminars. This is marking the beginning of our pre-symposium activities. The doing thing, we are doing it. We are not lamenting. So that is what I wanted to give, so that when we discuss, let us not talk about the problem that we have had. We know all that. The diagnosis of the problem of Greater Navy has already been done. The politicians are already starting it to do the diagnosis. The same thing they've done because for them, their calendar is about elections. But we are entrepreneurs. We look for profit. We look for opportunity. We transform comparative advantage to competitive advantage. We create business. We create jobs. We create prosperity by doing it. And that is the journey we are starting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. George. Thank you, Mr. Judge, for elaborating on some of the opportunities that we have. As we had earlier requested that we go through the opportunities and then we give the floor for some few members to ask questions that you will respond to later. But also I would like to let the members here know that Mr. George is our patron, the one who is guiding us as we pursue this noble cause. So we shall be taking some. I see Mr. Onwech. Victor, may you please come in with your questions?
Yes, good evening, members, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Thank you. Thanks for this opportunity. Thanks for having organized such a wonderful get-together that has brought the young entrepreneurs within Nebi District, or Greater Nebi District, as well as West Nile. Mr. George has elaborated so well and clearly. We see a lot of opportunities that we can tap on as people of West Nile or Greater Nebi. In his first opening remark, he made comments on the comparative and the competitive advantage that we have as people of Greater Nebi. That is very okay. If only we can take advantage of those, I think we shall get to the next level. However, I have a very simple and small concern. Much as we are saying, he said we should not look at the politicians, the technocrats at district or whatever level they are in. I would still admit that there is a lot that these people need to do. One of the questions, maybe before I get to those other nitty-gritties of what these politicians need to do, is that why should our government start prioritizing constructing a road in Congo when our own is still in this sorry state? That is one. And two, now getting to the roles and responsibilities of our politicians or the technical people. When you look at Greater Navy from Pakwach up to Zombo, we have a lot of opportunity that have not been utilized so well. One, the government of Uganda way back in 2006, oh, okay, the whole idea about it was well worked on during the COVID 2019. That was the renovation of the railway line back to Pakwash. This, to me, would bring in a lot of opportunities, but where do we fall as of now? When this railway line is rejuvenated, we are going to have an inland container depot, an ICD center, just like the one in Nakuru that is in Kenya, or one in Mombasa, Naivasha. Okay, I'm talking from a perspective of a clearing agent from that sort. Those are the opportunities that this thing will bring for us. And two, our problem as Uganda is not not lack of availability of opportunities, but the availability of opportunities only that we put resources where they're not supposed to be. Three, we bring so much into software aspect. For example, when you talk about wildlife irrigation scheme, this project was perceived way back in 2006. Is it 6 or 2? But even up to now, we are still looking at smallholder farmers to do the larger bit of the irrigation scheme. What opportunity lies if only government can come in and put in this thing as part of its manifesto to people of Uganda? Yes, we have established around 6 irrigation schemes in the country for the last 20 years of NRM government. But which one of these is now sprinkling water? When you look
Victor,
at the
I request
advantage
you
that we
to
have in terms of
summarize.
natural resource, we have this water.
Victor, I request you
It's okay.
to summarize so that we give opportunities for others to ask too.
Fine. I'm just looking at this thing from the available opportunities that we have. If only we can tap them and transform them into what we are looking at before the CEOs, which happens to be me, Walter, and the likes. We need to first also have an environment that would support all of us in whatever thing that we are doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. I see Freeman, but I request that we be short and brief to the point so that we are able to capture everyone's view here. Is Freeman around? I saw your hand. Okay, Pirot Bright, please come in.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Bright and I'm picking from Erusi. I really want to appreciate the information you have got, and in fact, I don't want to talk much on what has been already discussed. My concern is that to some extent, still I agree with the previous speaker that much as this we need not to depend much on the problems that the politicians and the challenges that we have. There are some challenges that really indeed we can't do without. Like for example, the issue of power. Because you see that the opportunities, most of these opportunities need availability of power. Now, if it is not there, for example, even in value addition of this Greek agricultural produce and even services like ICT and the rest, we need power. So I don't know whether this symposium and maybe this coming together will be able to help us to try to convince, maybe if it is developing some concept note also on how important the availability of power in some of these places can help us to to address some of these challenges. I thank you.
Thank you. Right. I'm picking up Dan Pikisa. Dan, you have the floor.
Well, thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. This is Dan Pikisa, as she has mentioned. I have a very little comment to put. First of all, I'm appreciative to the initiative, bringing us together this time so that we can share our own. I had previous thinking that we are the young people who have been sabotaging our growth. It is good to be inspired by the elderly, always to bring them and talk to us and change our mindset. But there are moments we need to also bring them to hear what we have been doing, which has been what has been lacking so much. We have some young people who are doing great things, but most cases that opportunities brings such forum together. We end up bringing the bigger ones who have made it in life. Yes, it is good, they inspire, but we don't show them the capacities we have. So my appeal is that if this forum and platform can really address that, the next time we have a convention or engagement like the Hidden Treasure did, let's bring some potential young people to tell the world what they're doing so that the elders can see how they can support us than only hearing from them. It has been a one-way thing anyway. We are living in their future sometimes, but it's also good that they know our potential. And from there, we can discuss together with them how they can hold our hands and move forward rather than only hearing their success stories. Yes, it inspires, but sometimes we need more than just inspiration. We need them to come and hold our hands. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. George, this is a request to this. Dan, your issue, your interest is going to be covered. I told you this is a maiden engagement. We have a series of engagements where every youth will be involved. There is that will show the potentials of everyone. Whatever you're doing will be this is for us. But as we say, it's always the people just giving back. We have Joshua.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm really, first of all, glad to be part of this, and I want to appreciate you for initiating this program and initiative. I just wanted to talk about something that my colleague insinuated about the mindset of the young people. You know, the issues of changing the mindset of young people is a very critical point that we need to really put into consideration, because if you can look at most young people, some who goes to schools, goes to the universities, even if they graduate, they don't think about getting back to their real communities where they come from, not knowing that they're the few influencers in the communities. They don't think about that. There are few who really has that mindset of going back and giving back to their communities. So the issues of a mindset change is a very critical statement that I think people have to think about, and we need to really engage that. Then another point is about the stakeholders, different stakeholders' will. Do we have political will to support young people? Do we have different stakeholders like NGOs, different spiritual leaders, different NGO leaders, and other stakeholders coming on board to support young people in West Nile? This is something that sometimes I see lacking. There are a lot of small NGOs and small grassroots organizations at different places in West Nile. When you look at Pakwach, you look at Nebi, there are many grassroots organizations, but you will be surprised to see that these young people who are trying to take up some initiative to work on a project in their communities, they will even take time to get people to support them. Even they don't have enough funders, they're really struggling. A lot of things are messed up. So I'm thinking that there should be a stakeholders' will. People should come on board to support young people. And again, a lot of NGOs who are coming to work on different projects. There are a lot of projects which has been going on at West Nile, but the issues of mindset change and stakeholders' will to support young people are those two critical points that I think we should also put in consideration to see that young people come on board to identify the strength and the power and the opportunities that they have, that they can deliver and they can express to see that they solve most of the problems in their community. We are the people, they say we are the leaders of tomorrow, but I think that tomorrow is today. You know, the high population of Uganda is consisting of the young people, which I think they should be fully engaged, and they should know the opportunities and the strength that they have in order for them to solve the real community problem that they're coming out from. So this is something that I just wanted to highlight on. Thank you very much for initiating this engagement.
Madam Chair, Joshua is done. Is that all?
Yes, I'm done. Yeah, thank you.
I think Madam Chair is having trouble with her network. I think our patron will come in after James. I'm seeing James's hand up. James, the floor is yours as Madam Chair, host work on network. James Wanadi, floor is yours. And then after James, Freeman Pascal raised his hand. And then we give it back to Papa to respond.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please confirm if I'm audible.
Yeah, you are. We can hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Francis. And Papa George Piwang, I must really say that a very big source of information
James,
for our
your
region
network
and
is
the country at large.
James, your network is so poor. You're breaking. We can't hear you well.
Get me now. Point of the symposium.
James, you've muted your mic. Okay, as you work on your network, we invite Bwana Mwaniki Baruti. I'm seeing your hand is up. You're welcome, Mr. Mwaniki.
Francisco, thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to be able to just address this forum. Rather briefly, I'm normally kind of shy and I don't like to talk. I rather work in the background, but nevertheless, I'm going to do my best. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Bwana Mwaniki.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, again, as I said, thanks a lot for allowing me this opportunity. My name is Waniki Baruti. I am a part of the African diaspora in the United States. And I specifically said that for a reason, because I think that we need to know as Africans that Africans exist all over the world. And we are part of the same fabric that exists in Africa. We just happen to not be in Africa. But nevertheless, let me continue on. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak. What I want to say right quick is that be careful about overemphasizing what you have and place more emphasis on what you lack. We tend to always talk about all the different comparative advantages, but I would caution you also during your next symposium to put more emphasis also on some of the comparative disadvantages, because that's what's going to bring you up. Not so much what you have, it's what you don't have, what you lack. That's where the emphasis needs to be placed on what you don't have. We know that Nebi and the greater Nebi region has an abundance of agriculture. The potential is enormous. That's not the problem. The problem is what you don't have. And let me just talk about a little bit of that, if I mind, if you will allow me to. First of all, as one of the prior speakers spoke, he mentioned about a mindset. And a mindset is truly critical. It's all about the mindset, because once you establish the correct mindset, everything else tends to flow rather freely. Focus on not being not being consumers, but producers. Focus on not being consumers, but producers. I would say place a little bit more emphasis on some of the things you don't have. For example, uninterrupted electricity. That needs to be a focus. Okay, youth business education through mentorship programs. That is a critical link in this chain. Is the mentorship programs with young people, business education. I would also place a little bit more focus on your transportation nodes, road infrastructure improvement, rail system upgrades, and the use of your waterways. I would also talk about it, and I think this has already been brought up, but your 21st century internet technology. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in the 21st century. And that is a critical communications node that literally is vital in this day and age. I would disapprove of tribalism. Tribalism tends to be an impediment to getting business done. Business is business. I would punish corruption at every echelon, at every level, from the lowest all the way to the highest. It has to be discouraged. That is a cancer, and it has to be gotten rid of. I would place a significant amount of interest on your distribution nodes. It's one thing to be able to produce items, but it's another thing to be able to distribute these items. So your partners, all the other stakeholders in the other countries, South Sudan, Tanzania, so forth and so on. If the distribution nodes are inadequate, then at this point, you're left with whatever it is that you're producing. You can't get it to where you need to get it. So, and then I would go on with the last thing, and that is place an increased educational emphasis on civil, electrical, mechanical engineering, as well as agriculture engineering. I would really do that. And I think that's about it. Again, thanks a lot for allowing me the opportunity to just chime in.
You're welcome, Monique Baruti. Over to you. Okay, I think our hosts still have challenge with her network. Wanadi, your hand was up so that our patron could respond to some of the concerns raised. Monique, thank you. Thank you for coming in. We hope to host you once again with time when your time will allow. Thank you for the insight. James Wanadi. Oh, James is gone. Freeman is back. Freeman, you're welcome.
Sorry that my network is not stable at all.
Oh, James, you're there. Okay, Freeman, the floor is yours.
Thank you for this a wonderful discussion. I want to start by appreciating George for making time and talking to us as entrepreneurs. There are many opportunities you have actually enumerated and also provided evidence for that. Now, as entrepreneurs, we are not that big in terms of what is taking place, but then the opportunities you've talked about are very exciting. So my question is, how can we be supported and organized to tap into these opportunities, or even position for these opportunities? From the perspective you've discussed them, it appears like, okay, are they reachable for us? Because at our level, there has to be a level where we can tap into these opportunities. So what do we need to do to be able to tap into these opportunities that are actually, earmarked for West Nile and Greater Navy as a region? Because that is very important to us. If I'm going to tap into the special industrial zone, what do I need to do as an entrepreneur at my level? If I'm going to tap into the Lake Victoria Mediterranean Navigation Project, what do I need to do? What are those opportunities that are at my level that would actually be relevant to me in terms of what I am doing or what I'm investing in? That's basically my question to Mr. George.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience. I at this point, I would request that Mr. George responds to some of the issues that have been raised. Sir, you're most welcome.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your comments and questions. I start with Omwech Victor. Why is government building roads in Congo and not in Uganda? When is the railway line to Pakwach coming on board? These are questions of infrastructure where government needs to up its game. And yes, there are developments coming about extending the rail from Gulu to Pakwach, because the rail from Tororo to Gulu is already in the works, money has been availed, so on and so forth. The plans for extension to Pakwach is also on the table. Better still, there are bigger possibilities of extending the rail from Pakwach to Vura Customs on the border, to Bunia, to Kisangani in DRC, as part of Africa Union Development Agency, Nepal. That is already being discussed as well in the interest of the African Continental Free Trade Area. So that is what government must do and should do. And that is where we entrepreneurs can lobby government with our businesses, because we need this infrastructure to do business. We can choose. Here's our choice. We can choose to wait until the government has done all the infrastructures, then we can start thinking of business. Or we can choose through our business to group together as young entrepreneurs and have a critical mass that then lobbies government, starting with the local government, going to the central government, to say, look, we are business owners, operators. We are young entrepreneurs in Greater Navy, but our business is being affected by lack of railway extension to Pakwach, especially for those of us who are clearing agents. Lack of electricity. Now, we will have a louder voice as businesses banding together in the critical mass, then talking to government. Then lamenting and crying that, oh, government, you should do yours first. It is our choice. Or we can play the political game as well. Do civic education about the power of our vote. So those are our choices and the many others. Edward Bright, power. Yes, the issue of connecting West Nile with the national grid is a present situation, is a present problem. There are many voices crying about that. But one of the things that I have personally been lobbying for is to get the Science Technology Industrial Park connected to the national grid. So by pushing for operationalization of the Science Industrial Park in Pakwach, I'm pulling government to connect West Nile to the national grid. And I've already secured a letter, I, George Tuang Jolobo, as a domestic investor in Pakwach. I wrote to the managing director of Uganda Electricity Transmission Company, who responded in writing that we should officially request for a substation for the Science Industrial Park by a formal letter to record the distributor and give them a copy. So that is what I have done as a domestic investor, as a business person, working together with Pakwach District local government. Dan Pikisa, saying that we should have an opportunity for young people to show their thing and not just have older people talking like me. Dan, this is your thing, youth. I've only been asked to be a patron to back you from the back. You, the youth, are the ones leading. One of the specific active objectives of the Trade and Investment Symposium #1 says to provide a platform for over 500 young entrepreneurs in Greater Nebbi and West Nile to showcase their businesses and innovations. #2 says to facilitate the networking and knowledge sharing among young CEOs, business leaders, and investors. So it is your thing, this is your youth thing. After this opening, which I have been asked to give, I will go back at the back. You young people are the ones who, it is your thing, Dan Pikisa. Joshua, mindset of young people, stakeholders, and so on and so forth. There is a school of thought that you must first have a school and training institute for mindset change. That school of thought is very strong now. It has a lot of support in the State House and some my friends professors in Makerere University. That's not what I am advocating here. There is merit in that first of all, we must train people to develop a mindset change. What I am advocating here as business people, let us do business. Let us succeed and demonstrate a new mindset change of entrepreneurship, of go-getting, of making profit, of overcoming obstacles, of prospering, of creating jobs. Let us do it. Let us demonstrate that we have a mindset of entrepreneurship, of wealth creation, of job creation. That is what I'm advocating. There's a place for setting apart training in mindset change. Yes, it is a valid place, but that's not my concern. When I accepted to be patron for the young entrepreneurs, I accepted to say, I'll support you in doing it. Do we get the difference? I'm interested in seeing mindset change in action because you are wired as entrepreneurs to do that. Yes, this is the youth leading, and ours is business. There are NGOs who may partner with us, but this is business, doing business, profit making, wealth creation. So yes, we'll partner with other business associations. For example, the Chamber of Commerce in Greater Nebbi and West Nile, the Chamber of Commerce in DRC, the Chamber of Commerce in South Sudan, the Chamber of Commerce in CAR, which I described. So the stakeholders that we are going to bring around us are businesses. And of course, we will partner with the local government where we are based. LC5 chairperson, RDC, COW, and town clerk. Local government is our government public sector partner. Now, James Wanadi hasn't come on. Mwaniki Baruti, thank you for your advice and your comments. They're well taken. They're right within what we're doing. Francis Freeman, I think Freeman. How can we be supportive? How can we be supported as youth to tap into this opportunity? What do we need to do to tap into this opportunity? This is exactly why the Trade Symposium is about. That we are building up to that symposium through pre-symposium activities and programs. During the symposium, we are going to bring different stakeholders, those with capital, policymakers, those who will talk us about infrastructure development coming, to show us how we can tap in these opportunities. We have invited the Assistant Secretary, the Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area to come and show us the opportunities for youth in cross-border trade between Greater Nebi and Mahagi territory, between Greater Nebi, West Nile, and Haut Uele province, between West Nile, South Sudan. What are the resources available? What are the financing opportunities? What are the technology support? This is why we are having this, to bring the resources that are available to enable us to tap these opportunities that I have enumerated. So those are my comments to the questions and suggestions and comments made.
Thank you, Mr. George, for giving us your mind. We are very appreciative of your time. As I had earlier said, this is our maiden engagements. We shall be having a series of engagements some of the activities include the areas that we shall tackle include primary agriculture and agro-processing, where we shall look at sustainable agricultural practices, agro-processing and value addition. We shall look at market access and export opportunities. And then we shall also be looking at manufacturing industry. We shall look at industrial growth and diversification, innovation and technology adoption, supply chain and logistics enhancement. We shall also look at tourism. And under tourism, some of the areas we shall look at include tourism development and promotion, cultural heritage and ecotourism, sustainable tourism practices. And then also we shall look at human capital development, where we shall handle issues like education and skills development, workforce productivity and empowerment, talent retention and attraction. Last but not least, we shall also look at infrastructural development and ICT, where we shall look at infrastructure investment and expansion, digital transformation and connectivity, smart cities and sustainable development, and then African Continental Free Trade Area. I think this is one of the area that Mr. George has been emphasizing. And under that, we shall look at regional integration and trade policies, cross-border commerce and investment, economic partnerships and agreement. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you. Going to be more opportunities of engagement before we have the symposium. So some of the issues may not come now, we may not handle them now all, but as we engage, please get onto the platform, let's participate. As Mr. George said, this is our thing as youth. If we don't support it, it cannot go through. So I want to thank you all for your time. Let's make use of this opportunity and see that it impacts on us all. I'm going to take this opportunity to close this engagement officially. May you all have a lovely evening. Thank you.
Yay, Grace, ngati you cut us short.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay. Okay, as I had said, we shall be having other engagements. But okay, let me give each person 2 minutes. Okay, I'm starting with one colleague. There's a hero Sam, please.
Mungure Kokele Rogers.
Okay, thank you. This is Onekalit Oscar. Mine is not 2 minutes, mine is just 30 seconds. I wanted to inquire whether there is a manual for this symposium, if it is there where we can be able to read more about the symposium.
Another person?
Can I talk?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. Once again, I'm Mungure Kokele Rogers. Currently, I'm in Wadlai. I want to thank George Piwang so much. This is my first time for me to hear something that he's delivering. I want to say that I'm very sorry because I've been hearing a lot about George Piwang, and I'm just amazed by the outputs he's making. Many people were saying, okay, we are alleging that he's a bad person, he's one of those guys who want to steal land. And when I heard him talking about the industrial park, mentioning those areas of Greater Neighbor, I was like, wow, is this the man they want to fight? You see, when we want to fight someone, we'll be fighting our own development. George P. want to thank you so much for what you have given us. Away from that, friends, it's really hard to believe that some of us might be connected or being beneficial to us. We like sleeping and letting outsiders to take advantages of what we have, like George Piwang was talking of comparative advantage. For instance, the industrial park in Nyaravur. I remember sharing this with the Emilio Odongo. We have people from Central and Western coming to buy land in areas of Nyaravur and Aloe. Few of our people are buying those lands. It means we are missing on something, or we are not seeing what is lying ahead of us. And from this, I'm thinking that if there's any project that government is bringing, we should try so hard to put ourselves near what the government is doing, so that we get the benefits those projects will bring. Then another point I want to say is just
Correct. Please wind up.
Yes, I'm winding up by saying that connecting one another. I'm pretty sure that we learn from one another. There are some opportunities that may come, and we tend to sit on them, basically because we think we don't have another person who can benefit from them. But I believe that if we be connecting one another, we shall help them to help our areas develop. Let's be strategic every day. Like for me today, I learned a lot. There are so many things that I think will help me. Thank you.
You wrote some, please. We are giving you 2 minutes so that we can close this. Monique, are you raising your hand for the second time or?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes.
Yes, I'm getting you.
Okay. Hey, just want to emphasize one last thing real quick, because I don't know if I came across if the point was made sufficiently enough the first time that I spoke, and that is to become less reliant on the government and have a mindset of privatize your infrastructure. You know, invest in private roads, private rail system, private roadways. The government will follow. I promise you, the government will even support that. But if you become less reliant on the government and invest your monies, your resources into private infrastructure, everything else will follow through. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Maniki. Thank you for this insight. And I
Thank
believe
you.
that we are all hearing this. We shall take it in practice. I request Uyirot Sam to also be brief.
I just wanted to say thank you so much, Grace. Particularly, I want to say thank you to George Piwang Jalobo for the opportunity for us to listen to you. And personally, I want us to know that if there is a land and the people that are really blessed in our generation, this is our time for the Lur community, the Greater Nebi, because we have all it takes. Maybe unless when they talked about mindset change, this is a time for us now, the Greater Nebi people, because we are always known for the bad things, poverty, and the likes. But now for our time, I would like to suggest we should begin to do things we have never done before. And that starts with the mindset change. Every single phone we have in our hands as a Lur community, wherever we are, should be able to make for us money or resources every single day. If we can't do that, it would simply mean we are still trying to lag behind. I also would encourage us, for us, we are running what we call hidden treasure, which is encouraging every single Alur person, wherever they are, to do something at home. If you have never done anything at home, whether you're a professional, a businessman, or you haven't done anything, wherever you are in, from whichever part of the world, you must start from somewhere. Even if it means, if you don't have a house, start by building a grass-thatched house. If you don't have a phone, start by buying a Kabriti. If you don't have a business, start by doing something small. You may have a great vision, but start small. From there, hidden treasure is an opportunity for us. And I know for those who may want to consult me and we share more on how you can start something at home, not anywhere else, but at home. Personally, what I was able to achieve within 3 years, having stayed in Kampala for 12 years, I realize you can actually do much more with business at home than even wherever you are in this part of Uganda or any other part of the world. If you want to reach me, you can reach me on 0774 1306 and 57 for us to engage more. Thank you so much, Grace. I have enjoyed every bit of the discussion. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam, for your words of encouragement and for what you're doing for our people. Our last person is going to be Doreen. The rest of us, with our hands up, I kindly request that we refer it to the next session, which will be also very soon. So I give the floor to Doreen.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we are
Hello,
getting
can you hear me?
Doreen.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Doreen from Arua City. First of all, I'd like to thank Grace. I feel so proud of being part of this engagement. So I'm in Arua City. First of all, I'd like to thank George for these encouraging words and all he has said with us. Since we are young people and also I'm part of it and we're in West Nile, I would like to say that this engagement should be positively taken and we the young people should really take it as personal because we the young people, everyone has been singing that we are unemployed, we don't have jobs to do, but we have a lot of opportunities to tap elsewhere. We can do things that we even see things that we can do, but we cannot really tap onto the opportunities. As Birit said that we shouldn't be consumers only, but we should also be called producers. If we are producers and other people also in other countries come and purchase what we produce, we shall all feel proud as entrepreneurs, as young people. And as George had emphasized on the aspect of comparative versus the competitive. So when we put the comparative advantages into being competitive advantages, there we shall be very proud of ourselves in West Nile and a greater Navy. I feel, Grace, I must say this, I feel jealous. I wish George could come to Arua City and also see the same thing with the young people in Arua City. But however, maybe being close to Arua City, we are all in West Nile. We shall all get the same experiences and the same people will always teach us. Thank you so much and have a lovely.
All right, thank you, Doreen, for your affirmative and encouragement comments. We are one as West Nilers, and you're in for this. At this moment, I would like to thank us all once again for being involved in this, for being good participants. Mr. George, we appreciate your time and all that you're doing for the young people. Not only us, we know that you're doing a lot.
Thank you. It's my honor.
The next engagements will be communicated. Stay tuned. We have started, we are not going backwards. So we're going to be.
Yes, moderator, can I add a word
Thank you.
before we close?
Thank you.
Yes, moderator, can I add before we close? Hello.
Yes, Ratiba.
Yeah, okay.
I've
Thank
closed.
you. Okay, it's fine. Anyway, it's okay. Hello?
Yes, Ratib.
Yeah, okay. I want to take this opportunity and thank everyone for this wonderful session. Although I joined late, I just got to learn that I missed a lot. But I was also taken up by something, but I was able to catch up. From the last speeches that I'm able to catch up, I saw a lot of positive coming out of this. But you know, we as West Nilers, especially the youths, we are actually behind in terms of everything. When you look at the statistics, I think we are the second poorest region in Uganda after Karamoja. But I think we should not compare ourselves with Karamoja because they are way behind us. So we needed to do something positive for us as youths so that we can competitively engage in economic activities. When you look at the events happening in West Nile, they are really not okay in terms of facilitating trade. You see, of recently, URAs, they are shooting our people. The recent one is, Okolo, where we lost somebody. These are all attributed to poverty because our people are poor and then they're ready to do anything to engage in any economic activity that they can participate. But as we do this, what can we do as young people to our fellow youths? We can do a lot. So engagements like this, for me, I always take them positive, but we need to expand on this. I just saw like the attendance is very small, but let's everyone put an effort that next session, at least let's raise this number to a bigger number so that our people can benefit. That's what I just wanted to add, so that next time I saw that Chris was saturating this. Yeah, I like that spirit he has taken it up, but now everyone should also take it like that so that we can spread the message so that more people can get engaged into this. That's what I just wanted to submit. Thank you.
I don't know how many times I'm going to close this engagement. With your permission, Mr. George, I would like to say the engagement has been closed officially.